and also engage all the different constituencies, such as the government agencies that are actually doing the procurement, industry, which supplies to the government, and we want their input as well. So we don't want it to be just the board of FAIR, 5 or 7 of us that are providing all the input. Part of what we will be doing through FAIR is really creating an open, collaborative environment to exchange ideas, to have really a free flow that is missing right now within the community.
That is true. You know, I interviewed Congressman Tom Davis, and I asked him, why do you ask construction companies to put a performance bond, payment bonds, but at the same token, when there are IT contracts being let out, there is no performance bond, there is no payment bond. Everybody understands that if one job goes wrong, under a performance payment bond, that person's entire family, entire life savings, everything is gone. Whereas on the other side, hey, if you did not do well, the most you do is get terminated. And I really feel, yes, the government needs to make sure all the subs and suppliers are paid, which is absolutely important. There's an innovative way of doing it. In fact, under President Obama, it is like you can find out how many employees are being ultimately hired for that particular project. So it's more innovative not to be stuck with bonding, because all bonding companies are owned by lawyers, you know. They're nothing but lawyers, and lawyers never want to resolve any problem, so it takes years and years. Government is the loser. I understand that the bonding was first installed because there are a lot of contractors that were not paying their subs. But you're in technology, you can understand how you can make sure that the subs get paid if the contractor has been paid. That is one of my requests. If you go in there, this is my pet peeve, because I really think government loses so much money going to court. And I wish there was a better way of doing it, and I hope you come up with it.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the other things. We also have this environment right now where we demonize companies and suppliers, when the fact is that with all the important and complex policies that President Obama is putting in place, we will need to partner with industry to make those things happen. Take clean energy, for instance. Right? We will be relying on and partnering with industry, academia, etc., to really think about how do we solve that problem? How do we really come up with new technologies, etc.? And so it's important that we look at industry as partner and start changing some of that rhetoric as well. Definitely there are some bad guys, everyone would agree, but there are also a lot of good guys.
That's very
and so we need to make sure that, you know, we have the controls in place to catch those bad guys. But also then think about how do we work with industry to really, you know, make this a win-win for the industry, for government, but most importantly for taxpayers. Because at the end of the day, why I'm doing this, why people on our board are doing this is about taxpayer dollars. We're spending over $600 billion in procurement dollars, and we're not doing it very well. And we need to change the way we do it. And with all the other important initiatives that we need to run and the deficits that we're running, we think there's a great opportunity here to save billions and billions of dollars.
You're absolutely right. You know, the buzzword that started a few years ago was public-private partnership. And a lot more better things have occurred because of public-private partnership has fostered. But let's face it, the best value contract is the best way to go. It is not always a low price that should win. It should be the best value. Now tell me a little bit, how are you going to engage the policymakers?
A couple of things we're doing right off the bat. So there are two things. One is we want to educate and inform policymakers on what are the root causes and issues within procurement. So we're shaping smart policy. So what we've started doing already is engaging some people and within Congress, and we'll be meeting with some of the key committees, and this is where people like Al Berman and others really already have relationships and ability to engage the community. And we're also going to be working with some of the other think tanks. So while we believe that we're bringing something unique, we also know that these other think tanks are bringing other capabilities, and they also have influence. So we'll be working with them. And then finally, we're also working with federal agency leadership So we're engaging the agency leadership to get their input. So we're going out and meeting with them and telling them about FAIR and asking them what are the set of issues and how can we best help them. So when we go back to the Hill and we talk to other policymakers, we're able to inform them of the set of issues that are on top of mind of everyone, and also from an expertise standpoint that we bring to the table.
How about the constituency of businessmen, the contractors?
Absolutely. They are such an important constituency. We've already started having meetings with some of them. For instance, Professional Services Council, which is a representative group, a trade group for a lot of the professional services IT firms within the federal community. We've met with them. We're meeting with other trade groups as well. We plan to set up different advisory groups along these constituencies, and we'll have a chair and several members of each one of these advisory groups under FAIR. And the goal of these advisory groups is really to provide input on behalf of different constituencies, and then as a board we take that information, and what we want to do is bring really an objective viewpoint that takes everyone's input and comes up with a win-win from FAIR's perspective.
You know, lately President Obama said he wants to create a lot of jobs. Some of them he wants to create them in the government, which means insourcing. Are you doing anything about it?
Oh, of course. That's one of the key areas. Definitely what we've seen over the past decade is a lot of government, key government capability deteriorating or being outsourced to the private sector.
Yeah.
There are some areas, for instance, that are inherently governmental and that are defined in policy, such as whether there should be security contractors in Iraq, or is that a military duty? So those are really no-brainers in terms of that they should be brought back into government. But then there's a lot of gray areas. For instance, should government be doing financial systems? Right, or whether government should be doing a lot of program management. So that's where we think that industry is providing a lot of capability, and government also needs to have some capability. What we're advocating is a systematic and methodical approach, and not a rush to judgment to say, hey, we've outsourced 20,000 or 50,000 jobs, and we're going to bring them right back in, because that capability has been lost over decades, and we're not going to rebuild that capability in the government, nor will it make sense in some cases to do that in a matter of years. So we need to make sure that we have the human capital systems, the pay systems, the ability to recruit the right people, and then also keep those people, make sure that the jobs are attractive and we can keep those people before we start saying we're going to bring thousands of jobs back into the government.
Well, I want to congratulate you for starting a think tank called FAIR. It simply is amazing that as young as you are, that you're thinking to give back to the community from which you're actually making a living.
I think it's all our duty, so.
Congratulations. I wish you lots of luck.
Thank you so much.